Every day, 500,000 people ride London's Underground past a station that doesn't exist anymore. No sign, no stop announcement. Just a flash of old tiled platform, gone in half a second, swallowed by the dark. Most passengers never notice. The ones who do call them ghost stations. London has more than 40 of them, and the stories behind why they were abandoned are stranger than most of the city's actual ghost stories. To understand why these stations exist, you have to understand how the Underground was actually built. It wasn't planned as one unified system. It was stitched together by competing private companies in the late 1800s and early 1900s, each racing to grab territory before the others did. Some built stations less than 300 meters apart, convinced their rival wouldn't dare build nearby. Some built stations for neighborhoods that never grew the way they expected. And some built stations for reasons that had nothing to do with passengers at all. By the time London Underground unified into a single network, dozens of these stations were already redundant, too close to a busier stop, too expensive to keep staffed, too damaged by wartime bombing to reopen. One by one, the lights went out, but the platforms, the tunnels, the tile work never got torn down. They just got sealed off and left in the dark. Today, they're called ghost stations, and each one has its own story. Start with Down Street. Opened in 1907, it sat awkwardly close to two much busier stations, and Londoners simply didn't use it. By 1932, it was closed to the public entirely. But Down Street didn't stay empty for long. In 1939, workers arrived and quietly began converting it into something else, a bunker. During the Second World War, Down Street became a secret command center for the Railway Executive Committee. And for a time, Winston Churchill himself worked from its reinforced rooms before the Cabinet War Rooms were ready. Passengers riding through today have no idea they're passing the platform where wartime decisions were made feet from their train windows. Then there's British Museum Station, closed in 1933, when a newer station opened just a few hundred meters away. Almost immediately, rumors began. Staff and passengers reported strange sounds echoing from the sealed platform. Even claims of an Egyptian curse tied to items in the museum above. The rumors got so persistent that a newspaper offered a cash reward to anyone brave enough to spend the night on the abandoned platform. Nobody ever claimed it. Not every ghost station has a ghost story attached. Some just have stranger histories. Aldwych Station, closed in 1994, was used during both World Wars as an air raid shelter, and its tunnels stored treasures from the British Museum, including the Elgin marbles hidden from the Blitz. After closure, its eerily intact platforms became one of the most filmed locations in London. You've almost certainly seen Aldwych on screen without knowing it, standing in for other stations in dozens of films and TV shows. But the most unsettling of all the ghost stations might be the ones that were never finished. The ones built, then abandoned before they ever opened to a single passenger. North End Station, deep beneath Hampstead Heath, was meant to serve a housing development that was never built. Construction stopped, the shafts were sealed, and the station sat completed but empty. Deeper underground than almost any other point on the entire network. A fully built platform that no train has ever stopped at and no passenger has ever stood on. During the war, empty shells like this took on new purposes nobody had planned for. Some became storage, some became shelters, some, according to underground staff who worked the night lines, became places crews avoided lingering in longer than they had to, not because of any recorded incident, but because of how the air changes when you step off a moving train into a station that has been sealed in total darkness for the better part of a century. Today, most of these stations remain sealed, though a handful have found new life. Aldwych occasionally opens for guided tours. Down Street's wartime bunker has been opened to the public in limited tours revealing Churchill's old quarters. Others remain completely off limits, accessible only to maintenance crews and occasionally urban explorers who shouldn't be there. What's left behind isn't really about ghosts. It's about a city that grew so fast and changed so many times that it left pieces of itself behind. Sealed in the dark, still tiled, still signed, still waiting for trains that will never come again. The next time you're on the underground and the train slows unexpectedly between stops, or you catch a flash of old tilework rushing past the window, that's not your imagination. That's London's other city, the one underneath the one you know. There are more than 40 of these ghost stations scattered under London, and we've only covered a handful. If you want to see the rest, the ones with even stranger stories, subscribe, because next week I'm covering the station that was converted into a mushroom farm during the war.